Thank you, Gwen. I do appreciate being here with the crowd. A number of things to point out. I'm here to help you make money. I'm here to help you preserve your cash, and I think we can do that in uranium. We have a very good company. It's a bit like looking at that graph that Gwen had of Kinross before. We've been sitting in the doldrums for the last 5 years. We've made a little move over the last while, but we've got a long way to go. I'm Peter Dasler. I'm the president of CanAlaska. I'm a geologist, and I started this company, or I took over this company 10 years ago. In the next less than 10 minutes, I'm going to give you the run-through of what we've been doing, what are the main things about CanAlaska, but I'd like you to come back and talk to me later on, because we have a large number of projects, and we've done a lot of work in the Athabasca. So the statement's up here for you guys to think about where to invest and what to do. And 5 years ago, at the beginning of March 2011, we had a vibrant uranium company, which 8 weeks before it completed a financing at $1.65 and was listed on the main, just listed on the main board of the Toronto Stock Exchange. We were valued over $35 million. We're valued 1/3 of that right now. We're on our way to drilling major uranium targets, and our partner Mitsubishi from Japan and Koreas and KEPCO from Korea were helping us, but Fukushima slowed us down. However, I believe now that there's a real opportunity for CanAlaska shareholders to make a lot of money. We have not only got the same deals that we had back 5 years ago, we've added to those deals, and we've made some new, completely new developments. Structure is really, really important. We only have 22 million shares out. When Fukushima happened, we only had 20 million shares out. We've kept our powder dry. We've got $1 million left of cash in the treasury, and we're trading for less than 1/3 of what we were. We've still got our same assets. We're still moving forward. Our average financing price since 2004 is $2.93, and we only ever sold 1.7 million shares under $1.65. I talked to a gentleman last week that owns half of those 1.7 million shares. He's still got them. And in the last little while, we've had a deal with Cameco, and I put a graph there of what Cameco's performance has been in the last little while. If you want to be in uranium, if you want to ride the uranium market, yes, buy Cameco. They are the big players in the market, but if you want a percentage gain, we have a far bigger percentage gain, 175% there over the last 3 months, and I think we can continue to outperform the majors. I think this last 2 years we've been able to rewind the spring on the uranium story, and this is the fundamentals. This fundamental demand for uranium, it cannot be satisfied by current production. This is a good business case for getting into increased market valuations for uranium companies. The spring's being wound up. You've seen the increase in valuations for NextGen over the last little while. $25 million to well over $500 million value for discoveries. It's because there's a huge demand for uranium out there. In the US, they're building 5 nuclear plants right now. There's lots of jobs being created. 3,000 people down there in Georgia. The Athabasca is a very large place. It's about the size of Switzerland. You don't cover it in a day. You've got to do very methodical exploration. But we started off with a whole series of projects, probably too many. We're down to 2 key ones that we want to keep, but we're able now to do deals, and we've done deals not only on our Moon South project with Denison and our Waterbury Lake project with Cameco, but a $12.5 million deal with Cameco, just in January, February. And if you look at down on the bottom corner there, there's a little postage stamp, the Cree East project that we're in joint venture with our partners. That is a very large piece of ground, 30 by 40 kilometers in size. From here down to the US border, down to White Rock, out to Langley, back to Maple Ridge and back. You don't cover these pieces of ground in a few hours. We've got $85 million sunk into the ground. We're a very vibrant company because of new technology that was out there. The guy down on the bottom corner there is doing exactly what that aircraft is doing. But we're seeing 800 to 900 meters into the ground, and that was not possible before 2005. So we're able to use $90 million of government research where to look for the next uranium mines. We staked ground, and in 2004 our teams were out there. We developed new survey methods, and we were very, very vibrant in those 8 weeks before Fukushima happened. We've got multiple baskets. of uranium projects. We've got some very big partnerships. Cameco, the biggest, richest mine in the world, is sitting right next door to us. We've had Mitsubishi supporting us for about $16 million worth of work and recently replaced them with Cameco. But Korea's KEPCO, Hanwha, and SK, all very large corporations from Korea, Denison recently. All of these things have put money in the ground and lower the risk for our partnerships. The whole deal on all of those partnerships is for CanAlaska to be carried to discovery or near discovery. And we were very close to that in the weeks before Fukushima. Our programs have been very methodical, covering large areas. Every one of these projects, I could tell you the story about them, how we have a brilliant uranium target on them. The two key ones down in the southeast are West MacArthur and Cree East. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, a little bit of geology background, but a little bit of an insight into those three projects that are sitting out there now. Two uranium projects and one completely different. The one in the center there is one with Mitsubishi, which funded $16 million, and now recently Cameco is putting another $12.5 million into it. Or the one up in the northwest where Chuck Fipke is putting $11.6 million in looking for uranium. We have 12.5 million shares of his company, and we think he's got some brilliant targets. Or something completely different out in the western Athabasca. We announced in February that we had located what we believe are 75 new kimberlites, a brand new kimberlite field. A little bit of focus on where Cameco is putting their money. They made a big discovery announcement in February of this year, Fox Lake, 60 million pounds of 8% uranium. They'd sat on that for 8 years, hadn't told anybody about it, but right across the property boundary, we've been drilling the same sort of targets, and they've now done a $12.5 million deal. We're 10 kilometers away from their very big mine at MacArthur River. We think this is a significant target that could develop a tier 1 discovery. On Monday, we'll be meeting with Cameco, and we'll get some idea of the first drilling, the first assays, and the work programs over the summer. We will announce them over the next weeks. A second project up in the northwest where Chuck Fipke, the diamond explorer, said, "Peter, have you got something where I could look for uranium?" Well, I said, look at these big gravity targets and look at these 60% uranium boulders that we're pulling out of here. We'd put $7 million into this project, and we believed that we were going to find something that was 100 million pounds plus in the next drilling. Well, Chuck got in there and did the first drilling last summer, the first serious drilling last summer. He hit a major uranium system. He's only testing one of 4 targets right in that area, and I hope that they will have a drill program active this summer. We're working with Cameco to get one going. We're working with Chuck to get one going. You know what? This is very much like the Patterson Lake area. That gravity anomaly down to the south there is 800 meters long. That's a very, very big target. We see the same sort of mineralization and style. And then, as I said, for something completely different. Over here in the western part of the Athabasca, an area where not many people go, some windblown sand covering the rocks, not very much overburden, but we've found what we believe are kimberlite targets. Now, we're sandwiched between the kimberlites in southern Saskatchewan, the kimberlites in Alberta, and underneath us, we know that we have 150 kilometers of rock, which takes us down into the diamond stability field. And in 2011, when the government went and did a survey, we looked at it saying, well, can we find some uranium? And our geophysicists said, what are those strange dots? Those strange magnetic anomalies. Looks like there's something poking all the way up through 2 kilometers of sandstone. And we staked the ground and we announced it. Now, I would like you all to sign up for our shareholder list. I'd like you all to go onto our website and sign in, because the next news coming out on that will be very significant for everybody. Can't tell you when it's going to be. Something's going to happen on that, because you don't get no response from finding a potential new kimberlite field. Get on the news wire and get that information from us very early on. So again, we don't have all our eggs in one basket. We've got major players from Asia funding, supporting us. We've got multiple projects that are going to be drilled this summer. We're in the exploration phase. No pounds in the ground, nothing there, but we're going for the big one. We think that a discovery can take us through there and make a lot of money for our shareholders. The 5,000 people who own the 22 million shares. Hopefully you guys will come in and buy some of those shares. There's lots of opportunity for us to go and grow in the future. Thank you very much.